What's going on, guys? Boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. It's Friday night here at Encore. Just got in and circled the room. I think I'm gonna play some 1-3 today. Yesterday just came off of that big win, playing 2-5, cashed out for 1,500, and hopefully we run it back up again today. The room's pretty packed. It's only gonna get a little more packed as the night continues, but we're here. This place looks gorgeous, and I'd love to show you a little bit of what this place looks like. So hopefully we can run it up. I'll let you guys know how the hands go. Wish me luck. I think I'm gonna play some 1-3, but things can always change. So we'll see ya. So we hop into the 1-3 game, and the first playable hand or interesting hand of note, we have pocket jacks in the big blind with about 400 in our stack. So we chipped up from the starting buy-in. There's 3 limpers to me, and I am gonna raise it up on the bigger side on a pretty active table, out of position. I raised it $23 to ISO the player to my right, who is very willing to call. And exactly what happens, the small blind calls. So we ISO'd, and we're going to heads up in position here. Flop comes king, deuce, 4, rainbow. He checks to me, and with an overcard out there, not thinking I can get a whole lot of value from worse, so I just check it back. Turn is another king, so really good card. Obviously, I'm going to be very happy to bet here. And he does it for me. He bets $20 and nowhere to go but to flat. So I call the 20, and let's go to a river, which is a 10. He bets $30. Easy snap call for me. Can't really raise ever. Don't think I can ever get value even from like a 10 or something. So I just call. He shows ace 10, and we take it down. Next spot we find ourselves in, we're in the small blind, and we look down at ace king of spades with an under the gun straddle as well. So there's 3 callers of the straddle to me, and going to raise it up on the bigger side, out of position with a very premium hand. I raised to $40. The 2 late position limpers make the call, so we're going to go 3 ways to a flop out of position of deuce 5, 6, rainbow. And I am just going to have to c-bet here. I have all the overcards in the world, and although they might have 10s or 7s or whatever, I might have to just double or triple barrel here and take it down. But I lead for $75, and the button, once again, the player who's very happy to call makes the call. So let's go heads up to a turn, which is a 5. Thinking about what I could possibly do here. The board pairs, so it makes like 7s, 8s, 9s, just like not able to fold here, especially against the person who just loves to call with anything. So I decide to ultimately barrel again for 175. He quickly jams. He jams, which is terrible, leaving me about 110 more to call, and I put myself in a terrible position. I have 2 overs that could be good here. That should be good here a lot of the time. So at the end of the day, like, it's unfortunate. I picked a really bad spot to bluff and continue barreling against someone who just doesn't really fold. So it is what it is. I stick the 110 in there begrudgingly, and he shows ace 5 offsuit. So I am immediately dead. Immediately dead with ace 5. And we just muck it immediately once he shows, because I'm just not good here. Don't know what the river is. It bricked out, but he takes it down with trip 5s. Exactly. That just kind of this is, I don't know what I'm saying, just noises coming out of my mouth, but it's really gross. Picked a bad spot to barrel. He called with a pair of 5s on the flop. He called $40 with ace 5 offsuit. That's just how it goes sometimes. This hand is a very fun one. I'm on the button, and we chipped back up a little bit again, and we have ace 6 of clubs. There's 2 limpers to me, and 8-6 here. In position, I'm going to raise to $20. I just hate limping, and I think I can take advantage of a pretty soft table. So I raise to $20, and only the middle position player makes the call. So we're going to go to a flop of king 10-6 rainbow. And heads up here in position, he actually ends up leading out for $20. Interesting spots, really weird spot with bottom pair. I do have a backdoor flush draw that I could have outs towards, but at the end of the day, with pair 6s, I just flat because I think it's weird. I think the donk leads are weird, so I'm not really sure what to do. But I have a pair, and I'm gonna call the 20 and see what evaluates on the turn and river. The turn is a 7 of diamonds and brings in a backdoor flush draw, and he once again leads out for $25 this time. This line makes no sense. He's betting extremely small, and if I'm going to call 20 on the flop, I'm going to have to call again on the turn for $25 more. So exactly what I do, I don't let my pair of sixes go yet, and I flat. The turn is a king. Really great card, to be honest with you. Eliminates a ton of opportunities of him having top pair here, and he bets $100. Sized up really big after betting tiny on the flop and turn. So this line really doesn't make any sense. And like I said, there's really not a whole lot of hands that hold kings in this point when the king also comes up on the river. And really, is he really going to be value betting like ace 10, queen 10 that much here? Doesn't seem like the case. So I think for a little bit, line doesn't make any sense. We tossed the call for $100 with 8-6, and he reluctantly shows queen and jack offsuit. So we got the right read. We make the hero call, and we win. We win that one. It's always loved to show down bottom pair and be good. Next hand, we have under the gun +1 with pocket queens along with a under the gun straddle. So love that, right? I opened up to $25, and the player to my left calls, and the big blind calls, and the under the gun straddler calls. So let's go to a flop multi-way to a pretty big 1-3 pot, I guess. Flop comes king, queen, 8, 2 hearts and a diamond out there. Middle set, love the world. And I especially love it when the big blind open jams for 175 total. Overbets the pot. Really interesting and weird spot here because... like what? I guess like what? So middle set here, it just seems like he's going for a draw like 9 times out of 10, you know, whether it be the flush or straight draw, it doesn't matter. Action's on to me, the undergun gets out of the way, and I am going to just stick it all in. I jam, essentially, I bet like $500, putting the player to my left all in. He only had about like 300-ish in total left, so... With that said, gonna put him on the tough spots and just see how it goes because we're just gonna go with it. He tanks for a long time and then makes the call. So, not really sure what kind of hands he'd be calling with, but let's go to a run out 3 ways all in. Run is a jack, then a 7 of hearts. Once the hearts come, I just know I'm dead all the time. Big blind shows ace 4 of hearts for the nut flush. And in this big blind player is the same player from last hand who tried to bluff me off my pair of sixes. So he's very capable of just sticking it all in. Not sure, but that's what happened. And the player to my left had ace king. So shout out to you, Yesh. Thanks for subscribing to the channel. But we take it down. At least we win a very small side pot. Not really something I care too much about. But it's unfortunate that we didn't win the main, which was about $500. The side was maybe $300 total. So it is what it is. And it's a really gross spot that we found a way to lose in. But that's the hand. Under the gun in this spot with queen 10 of clubs. I opened up to $18. We're sizing big. It's not playing like a normal 1-3 table, which is personally what I love, because it's really active and people are very call happy. So just gonna have to size up on the bigger side with every sizing and just trying to ISO and get as little people as possible in. So only the player to my right who is very active. He's basically playing almost all his hands, and we have position on him. So let's go to a flop of king 10, 2 hearts. He leads for $20. And very unlikely that he has a king here ever, just because he's playing so many hands. So I'm going to call with my pair of tens, and we're going to see what happens and develops. Turns a 7 of diamonds. He checks to me, and I am just going to bet small here once again. Same bet of $20. Just trying to keep his whole entire range in. I beat basically every 10 possible, and I just know I've got to be ahead. If he does have somehow heart draws, I don't know. It's hard to put him on a specific hand in a made hand, but $20 should be just small enough to rope him in. So he calls, and the river is another 7. So double paired board, and he leads up for $40. It's an easy call for me. There's just no way. If he has a 7, congrats, good for you. You got it. You got there. But with my pair of 10s, I'm good here a lot. So I just make the call. He says board. He says that he has pocket 4s, and we show when we take it down. So, yeah. Hand after that, we have king 8 of diamonds in the cutoff, and there's 4 limpers to me. Not a big fan of limping, but suited king in position with just everyone limping. So I limp, and the button also limps as well. And action onto the small blind, who raises the $15. $15 is just way too small. You can tell that I'm raising at 18 under the gun, opening at 18, and he's raising at 15 with like 6 people in there. So of course, naturally, we get 6 callers. So I'm in there as well, and we're gonna go 7 ways to a flop of Jack 10 6 2 hearts. I mean 2 diamonds out there with 1 heart. So flopping the second nut flush draw and action checks to the middle position player. The small blind ended up checking. He bets $40, really, really small bets, and interesting spot, but he's been fairly tight the whole time, so I'm just going to flat with my flush draw, and the button also makes the call. So let's go 3 ways now. The field is thinned out a little bit. Turn is a king. Really great card for us. We have top pair, and I think on a limped pot and a limped board, I'm calling this a limped board or a limped pot because, well, everyone here actually limped pre and then called the $15, which is pretty insignificant. So here with top pair, I think I'm good here a lot of the time. I also have so much equity. Not really afraid of straights. Queen 9, I guess, is the only possibility, but besides that, I have so much equity. If I'm up against the ace high flush draw, I'd rather get it in as I'm ahead with top pair. So middle position player fires again for $50. It's super small and just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It looks like he's going for the nut flush draw, and like I said, even if he is going for that draw, I am still ahead and I block a bunch of diamonds. So I'm going to raise it to 200 on the bigger side, 4xing the $50 bet. Top pair should be good here, like I said, a lot of the time. The button was really short. He jammed for $75 total, so that's pretty insignificant there with how short he was. And action's back onto the middle position player, who jams about $230 total. It's an extra $30 to me to call, so obviously flicking the $30, and let's go once again 3 ways all in to a river. The river's a 10, pairs the board. I still think my king should be good here, but the button shows ace queen offsuits. The middle position player, early position player, shows ace queen of diamonds, and we were totally dead. So we lose that one there. So that's unfortunate, really gross. Never really saw ace queen to ever limp. Nevertheless, 2 people limping ace queen and 1 limping ace queen of diamonds. So we were just totally dead. My read was totally wrong, but that kind of threw me for a loop. Didn't expect that to happen, but I'll use this information moving forward. Also, just another thing, I wrote my notes, stop playing limped pots. I hate limped pots. I hate playing them. We're not doing that anymore. Fuck limp pots. Following hand is a pretty interesting spot nonetheless, and probably the hand to kind of define my session here. So let's get into it without further ado. We're in the big blind with 9-10 of clubs, my favorite hand, but it's suited, so not my favorite. I love 9-10 offsuit for no reason. But regardless, we have about 700 in our stack. We chipped up, and there's 5 limpers to a small blind player. Same player to my right, very actiony and very willing to just get mixed in and get involved. He raises to $15, actions onto me in the big blind, and normally I 3-bet this all the time, especially out of position against all the other limpers out there, but I don't really want to get into just like this sizing war and just trying to just like, I don't know. I just didn't feel like it. With so many people involved in the hand, my sizing is going to be really big. And with such a playable hand, I'm just going to go and hope for a good flop. So I just flat the $15 and 4 of the limpers flat as well. Also, secondly, like I said, I'm not really trying to 3-bet because I did see the player in early position limp with ace queen of diamonds. So this table is very active, but also kind of sneaky, and it's pretty passive. So if you're limping ace queen of diamonds, I'm really not trying to 3-bet ever. So 4 players flat as well. So we're going to go 6 ways to a flop. The flop is what Andrew Nemi would probably call favorable. It's 6, 7, 8 rainbow. We flopped the nuts in a multi-way pot, so let's do it. God. So it's a dream flop, and the small blind leads for $30. And I'm just loving it, you know. I'm just trying to see how I can milk all this value, especially against a player, small blind, who is very call happy and will just call a lot. Before I can act, though, I see two people fold out of position. Two of the limpers just muck their cards immediately, and it's a weird spot for me because now, as much as I'd like to raise, I don't know, for some reason it's probably more of a reason to raise here, to be honest, but I decided to make a mistake, and I flat the $30, the 1/3 size pot bet. For some reason, that's exactly what I did. Obviously, it's a mistake, but I just flat with the nuts, and everyone else folds. So we're going to go heads up now to a turn, which is the 4 of diamonds. Not the best card in the world, but if he does have a 5 in there, I'm hoping he'll just go for it and rip it in. He now sizes up on the bigger side to $95, making a bigger bet here. Obviously, if I'm not going to raise on the flop, I'm going to raise here and just get stacks in. So I think raise to 260, especially with that sizing. There's no way he can get away. He doesn't take too long before ripping it all in, and he covered me by a little bit. So he jams, easy snap call. I snap call for a total of $629, and the pot is pretty big, up to 1,300-ish, give or take. So he shows 4-5 of clubs. I'm good with my 10-9. And the river's at 9, and we take it down. We take it down. The runout was really, really bad, actually. Really could have killed action, but I'm glad that my mistake on the flop didn't really hurt me. I really could have lost a lot of value, obviously, by not raising. But I'm happy that happened, and we take it down in a very cooler spot against an active player. So that's just how it is. The following interesting hand, we are under the gun +1 with an under the gun straddle. Once again, we have pocket 3s. $6 to call. I'm just going to open limp here. And action ends up going to be a 4-way limped pot. So let's go do it. 4 ways to a flop of ace, 3, 4, 2 clubs. Awesome spot, bottom set, and big blind leads for $10. This big blind player is the same player from the 8-6 hand. This is the same player with the pocket queens when he had ace 4. So we've been getting very much involved with this guy. And the under the gun player also calls. He's the player to my right, guy that's been also very active. And I decided to raise it up to $40. Bottom sets, we're going to pump it and just try to charge the max for draws and really bloat up this pot. And only the big blind makes the calls. So we're going to heads up to a turn, which is the 8 of clubs. It's really not the card I'm looking to see, and really not the bet I'm looking to face when he just jams it all in. 269 total. Like, what do you want me to do here? Bottom set, he just jammed, and at first, like, you got to think, like, it can't be for value, right? There's no way that this could ever be for value, and it just starts to make a little more sense. Like, when you think about it, I mean, 1-3 players don't typically jam 300 100 bigs in there, $300 or 100 bigs in there just for the hell of it. Seems like he has a pretty small flush draw and just trying to protect his clubs in case I had an over card with the club. So it is what it is. I think for a little bit and fold. Obviously, I do have my outs, but there's just no way I can call for that sizing and that price. Doesn't make any sense to call and basically just donate money given those odds. And he shows 5-7 of clubs, so he got there and he won the pot. He could have gotten a lot more, but that's how it went. Just had to fold to that sizing. There's really nothing I do. Very straightforward, I think. At this point into the night, it's like 2 a.m. and I don't know. I have a random clip on my phone that's like 10 seconds long with shout out to you, Dave. You just I have a random clip, late night shenanigans. We're just gonna play it and run it, and we'll get back to the last hand of the session just because why not? Gotta mix up the vlog somehow, right?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Ethan here, playing 1-3 marathon session. We're isolating the fish right here. Sit directly on his left. 3-bet 100%. Whoa.
Last night we'll go over, I have pocket aces in the button. So let's do it. Aces on the button. What more can you ask for besides a straddle and a double straddle and a blind bet to 50? Who knows? But besides that, you can't really ask for a whole lot more. So I limp. Nope, I did not limp. One limp. There's a limper to me. I open, bet, did not open. This hand is going to be a shit show, but I bet $20, and the big blind cold calls and the limper folds. So let's go to a flop. Flop comes queen 9-9 rainbow. nutted in this spot. He checks to me. I bet $15, really small. He raises to 30. Don't love that raise. Don't love that min raise at all as the big blind as well, who could be fairly loose, but he did call. He could be very wide, but he did call the $20. So he could have a 9 here. I just don't feel good about it, so I flat. The turn is a 10 of clubs, brings in the backdoor flush draw. He checks to me, weird enough, and I check it back because I'm not really sure what I'm up against, and I think I'm up against a 9 a lot of time, especially with that min raise. The river's a 6, and he just fires $100. It's weird, an overbet. I think overbets are very nutted all the time, and it's a really terrible spot. I think if I had anything like jacks, maybe I don't think I can fold kings, but jacks, tens, hands like that, it's a much easier fold and I can get away. But with aces, very top of my range, I just make the call, not really knowing that I'm not good here a lot of the time. And he shows a 9. He shows a 9 of diamonds, followed by a 3 of diamonds. So he called my $20 raise with 9-3 of diamonds. Welcome to 1-3 Encore, ladies and gentlemen. We are getting out of here. Oh my god, terrible lighting. Worst lighting, terrible production quality. This is better, but getting out of here. Played 11 hours, and also shout out to the garage for not playing any music right now so I don't get copyright strikes. I guess 2 a.m. Ooh, this is a nice car. Shout out to this guy. You can't even see it. Nice little Subi. Blows my Subi out of the water, but okay, I'm done rambling. All right, so in the game for 900, 1-3. I always find a way to be in for way too much, but you know, that's fine. In the game for 900, out of the game for 1372, played for 11 hours. 11 hours. Didn't go through a whole lot of hands, but went through like the interesting and big ones. Obviously, like it's 2 a.m. right now. We went through some late night shenanigans, and you guys got to see some of that. So, you know, went up and down, and at the end of the day, I profited about $472. So we'll take it for sure. Wrapping up the video now. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Gonna be, if you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out, boys.